Good day everyone, my name is Shamijan Sabroso, and for today's lesson I am going to discuss the different strategies that we can apply when we are reading a selection, writing, and discussing. So in these lessons there are four strategies that we can apply, but before that, let's tackle first the first strategy, which is the SQ3R, in which S stands for surveying, Q stands for question, and the 3R stands for reading, reviewing, and reciting. So first is the S. So surveying the materials by skimming through the chapter. So as the reader, the first thing that you need to do is to survey that reading selection. You will read the description so that you will know the flow of the story that we're going to happen, and you will survey the contents on how many chapters it will take, and something like that. So next is the question, formulating question by changing the subheadings into the question. So the next thing that you need to do is the create a questions so that you know to create a question so that you will get an idea of what you are reading. So how will you create a questions? Like for example, the topics are about the understandings part of the speech. So the question that you will going to create for that is that what are parts of speech, and why do I need to understand and learn the part of speech? Is it essential? Is it very significant for me? Something like that. So next is reading to answer the question that were generated. So now you already have the questions. The next thing that you need to do is to read the entire selection, the reading selection, so that you will get the answers that you wanted to get from the question that you were created. Next is reciting answers to the questions after reading the chapter. So you recite all those answers that you will get after you read the chapter. So look away from the materials and try to recite those key information and ideas that you get. So close the book for a while and try to put the ideas that you got into your own that you created in your own words, because if you can do that, that means that you understand the things that you have read in that reading selections. So next is the reviewing. So you review all the answers that you were grasped from those questions that you created. Next strategies is the PQRST, which is stands for preview, question, review, summarize, and test. So PQRST helps students to read effectively. So when you say preview, it is the you are going to read the summary. So the goal of you here is to get the idea of what will you learn in reading this selection. Next is you will create or form a question about what you are going to read, or simply ask what is the key point that I wanted to learn. Next is the review. Review the entire reading selection so that you will get the questions that you wanted to be answered. Next is summarize. So next is the summarize. So try to state what you just read into using your own words. So and lastly is test, which is also called as the reflective thinking, which is you are going to apply now the knowledge that you have get and grasp to the reading selections from the reading selections. So next strategies is literature response journal. So state your feelings, thoughts, reaction, and question about situations, ideas, action, characters, settings, symbols, plots, themes, and other element in the story. So always remember that there's no wrong in creating your responses. So take a risk and be honest of your response. And as much as possible, try to include what you like and dislike in that reading selection, and the what seems confusing and unusual for you in reading that selection. And aside from that, make your responses more creative. So so that so more creative, you can actually include your own personal experiences and relate it to the plot or the characters or the settings happen in that story. So always remember that your response journal is the place to record your reaction and question. So do not simply summarize the plot that you have read. Always it focuses on your reaction of what you have read in that selection. So next is lastly is the RAF strategy. So RAF strategy stands for R stands for role of the writer, A stands for audience to whom the writing is directed, F stands for format of writing, and T is the topic of the piece itself. So RAF strategy helps the student to identify which themes they are going to write. Sorry. So the possible format for this is the advice column, editorial, advertisements, horoscope, invitation, diaries, journals, songs, obituaries, and puberty. To understand it more better, there are example of this strategy. So example is the outline about the Revolutionary War in the USA. So the R here, which is the rule of the author, is the member of the Sons of Liberty. The audience is King George III, and the format of the piece is a rap song. So eventually the author here create a rap songs regarding on the topic of why people living in the England colony should support the separation of the colonies of England. So now that we are down to those strategies, let's move on to the next topic, which is the blogs are blooming. So I know that all of us here are very familiar with this one. So blog and vlog are different, okay? When you say vlog, which is V like violin, it is a vlog about that is made up from video, while blog, which stands for BLOG, are blog that um made up from words only. Mm. So what are blogs? A blog is an outline journal that allows teacher and students to share ideas in written form. As a discussion forum, the teacher can pose questions or issues and students can log in, read and respond and write their own reaction. So blogs helps the students to motivate in writing and also allows students and teacher to interact with one another with each other. So with each other outside the classroom. So it helps students to participate more on the discussion, especially to those students who do not contribute to participate orally during the class discussion. So just like what happens in our perspective subject, we all have our own forums in which the teacher will post a video discussion, and we students are need to input our insights or reaction to that video so that we can contribute the discussions on that specific forum. So blogs really helps students and teacher to interact with each other. So there are needs to be considered for a teacher when he or she are going to have a forum. So teacher must pose question that student will enjoy answering. Of course, that's the basic goal for the teacher so that students for are motivate to answer the questions. Next is you do not always have to blog. Retire a blog when it comes consume too much of your time and energy or the comments become stale. Start a new one with appropriate. Next is decide if you will review all posts before they appear. Of course, you must review the posts that you all the posts that you wanted to be posted in that specific forum. Next is decide if you wish to inform parents guardian about your blog. Next is remind students about privacy and safety procedure while blogging. Instead of using students' full names, you may want to use class number or just first names. So have a privacy for your students too. Next is in addition, some teacher use Twitter participants report that is great medium for sharing ideas and getting instant feedback from a handpicked selection of teachers. So those are my reports and I hope that you learn from my explanation or this video discussion. That's all once again. This is Shelmy Sabroso and thank you for listening. Bye.